that he was a budding star in the making.
2. Ohtani, right center field, and deep, and gone!
Offensive line, second down and 3. Big hole. Edwards-Helaire will take it to...
Under 5 minutes to go now. Arvidson's got an open man. Simpsons is in!
Here comes Bosa. Here comes the quarterback, Burrow. Looking for a block, and he got it up in the front by Hopkins into the end zone. Touchdown!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy once again, the Renegade. And you know what? Hey, this is episode 6 of Changing the Game. I'm here with the fellas today. I'm here with my main man, the Bruiser, a.k.a. Jason McCarthy. Let's say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be back on the show after my hiatus from last week so I could do some pro wrestling commentary for ASWA. I'm kind of excited about everything we got to talk about this evening.
Yeah, man, it's a good stuff. And with joining us tonight, we've got our special guest, the sports guru, my main man, Damon. He's educated on all things sports. I love to have him. I love to talk with him. Hey, welcome to the show. We appreciate having you.
Well, I'm just happy to be here, elated. You're doing so many wonderful things, man. I'm all over the place, so it's just another place that I'm just happy to be at and happy to just get it going, brother.
Hey, we appreciate having you. You know, we've done a couple of shows together, or we got one show under our belt together. Hey, you know, anytime, brother, anytime. We appreciate having you.
Thank you.
No problem. So, let's go on ahead, get started. Today's topics, we've got the NCAA Top 25. We got the NBA Summer League, you know, talk about some of the players doing their thing there. And then we got the MLB Standings in the middle of a pennant race. You know, and a side note from all of that, I think, is the Field of Dreams game, which, you know, was good for baseball. We can touch on just a little bit of that. Like I said before the show, man, I hate that I didn't get any highlights. I probably should have. I just kind of drugged my feet on it, and it was just like, oh, man, you know, waiting until the last minute. But, you know, leave it to the Renegade. He does that. So.
Well, I just watched that walk-off home run. That was pretty sweet, and it's I'll be honest, it's weird looking with going into corn and stuff like you don't expect it. I kind of wish I would have watched more of that game.
Hey, you know what, too, man? The players did say that they actually had a pretty good time with that, and it made them feel back, you know, like when they were playing before they were, you know, before they became major leaguers and everything else, and started to, you know, like feel like they were in high school again, and they had a lot of fun doing it. I thought it was awesome how they came out of the cornfields at the beginning of the game with Kevin Costner, and he gave this little speech, and I mean, it was great, man.
I mean, honestly, I'm looking here on Fox Sports. I guess it was the most broadcasted
in 16
MLB, years. Since 2005. Like, that's crazy. Like, they need to tap into that some more, I think.
Hey, you know what? I think a good idea would be to them to have one game every year where two teams play in the Field of Dreams. Don't do it, you know, every team's for 32 games, because then, you know, it'll lose its luster a lot quicker. Well, what you got, Sports Guru? What you got on that? Just, you know, a couple minutes on that.
Well, first of all, I was watching the game, and I was a little disappointed because living here in New York, I'm a proverbial Yankee hater. So when the Yankees took the lead in the top half of the inning, I was like, damn. I mean, you know, the White Sox had a big lead in that game, and I thought it was in the bag, but apparently it wasn't. So it was just amazing. It was an amazing game, to be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of baseball games in their entirety, to be honest with you. You know, more of a football, basketball guy at the stage of my life. But, you know, that was a big event. I think they, like Jason said, they had 6 million viewers, which is the highest rating regular season baseball game, and since I think 2005 or something like that. Right. So that was ingenious. Everybody likes to criticize Rob Manfred, but obviously that was a great job that he did. So, you know, kudos if you can kill a guy when he does something wrong. You know, praise him when he does something great. So that was great for baseball. Mm-hmm. But it was interesting from a Yankee perspective that, you know, Aroldis Chapman has been really having a real tough time of it this year. And Zach Britton, I guess his replacement closer for the Yankees, served up a 2-run game-winning home run to Mr. Tim Anderson, and boy, it was gone as soon as it left the bat. So it was priceless, man. And feel bad for those Yankee fans. Not really, but it was interesting.
Facts. All right, so listen, we're going to go ahead and just move along here to our regularly scheduled programming. We just wanted to touch bases on that because, like I said, I wish I got highlights. I should have, so that way I can be able to show you all what the nostalgia was all about. But hey, maybe we can do more on it next show. That, and in fact, that will probably be a good idea because we'll probably have some updates for you as far as the MLB goes. So, with that being said, we have the NCAA's ever-changing society now with the NIL, and then we've got what is it? The Big Ten, the Pac-12, and who is it that's supposed to be merging with them after Oklahoma and after Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC in 2025?
Well, was it
the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and another conference is supposed to be forming some sort of alliance?
That's right. Yeah, who's that third one? Yeah, I did see that. Well, actually, like you said, it's more of an alliance.
Right.
Basically, they wanted to include teams like a Notre Dame in there, and say Notre Dame would keep its regular rivalries against the armed forces, and also a few of the other ones that are kind of natural for Notre Dame, but they wanted to make sure that Notre Dame didn't play anybody outside of those particular teams. So interesting, because Notre Dame has always refrained from joining allegiance with any sort of conference, so to speak. But this would be a little bit different because it's more of a conglomerate conference more than just a single conference. So this might be something that we might see Notre Dame actually do.
Yeah, what you got, Jason? What you think about that?
I think that would be a big deal for Notre Dame. They've scooted around, joining a conference, and I think since the whole playoff has started, they've kind of got left out of the mix for various reasons. I think one of those reasons is that they don't necessarily have a conference. Like the committee can justify someone else over Notre Dame if they so choose, because Notre Dame doesn't have a conference. So if they even do like a conglomerate, like the Sports Guru said, then that kind of skirts that issue. And now the selection committee really doesn't have another excuse, because they've been decent enough in these past few years to at least get into the playoffs and be in the conversation and give it a shot.
Right.
But also I'm a guy that thinks we need 6 or 8 teams in that playoff to make it a real playoff.
Right. And I mean, I think this alliance could also, we talk about more teams in the playoffs now. Maybe go to, 8 teams or even 16 for that matter. I think it will open the door for a lot of stuff, but I mean, this is a changing landscape. We still have until 2025 to really figure out who's going where and who's doing what. And, that's a long time from now. So, with that being said, here are...
Well, just one thing.
Go ahead.
One thing, let me just mention this, that Notre Dame has always refrained from, joining forces in a conference because they got that big contract from NBC.
Right. It's monetary reasons. I think it was, $250 million or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. And that's really the only reason teams do join conferences, because they're guaranteed XYZ dollars. So, let's not have any pity parties for Notre Dame. If they do this, they're going to do it for dollars and cents.
Well, yeah, not only that, but they don't have to do any kind of revenue sharing for any bowls that they go to. They keep it all.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there's a whole nother, deal with that. But
and like Jason said, they last year they made the Final Four, and they got a bid, and a couple of years before that, so they've been pretty successful. Although they haven't been that number one team as they in their heyday. but they've been right around there, right around the periphery. And even though some people kind of felt they got, a little bit unfair treatment a couple of times, but, that's just Notre Dame. They bring the eyeballs.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they do have theoretically the biggest fan base in all of college football, so they say.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that there are arguments to be had for them being in a conference and not being in a conference. But the top 25 came out Wednesday, and listen, the Renegade, No Filter, Jason, all of us, we just so happened to pull one of those top 25 lists out for you. We're gonna show it to you. All right, here we go.
You want to go ahead, Jason? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I'm kind of surprised that Oklahoma's at number 3. Like you said, I haven't been sold on them for a while. They just haven't been, the Oklahoma that used to be all over the field, and they were like legit popular even here. Even in Columbus in Central Ohio, you would find quite a few Oklahoma fans, and it almost feels like those fans became Alabama fans once Oklahoma fell off, or the Oklahoma fans are just quieter now until they get back to where they used to be.
Well, let me say, Spencer Rattler, the sophomore quarterback, who is definitely a pro prospect, he's the real deal. So if that has to be the reason why they're so high, me personally, I have to agree with both of you gentlemen. Oklahoma's never had any sort of defense. I mean, that's what really has held them back over the last couple of years from being a top tier team or a national championship team, so to speak. They just don't play defense on that level. Offensive wise, they put 2 or 3 guys, in the pros, the quarterback at Philadelphia right now, the quarterback at as far as Arizona. So that's 2. And I believe there's another one. So, he's done what's his name? Riley. He's done a tremendous job offensively. He's what, in fact, a couple of NFL teams have tried to get him, to jump shift, but he hasn't so far. I guess they keep, padding that salary so he doesn't. But it's just on the defensive level, they're not as good as the SEC teams such as Alabama. I wouldn't say Ohio State, but, just on that upper echelon in terms of defense. Right. So that, no, I can't see them being the number 3 team in the country when it's all said.
Right. So then we got Georgia and at number 4, and a surprising Iowa State at number 5 with a 9-3 record. And they finished number 9th in the AP poll. Can anybody explain that? I mean,
good luck with that.
Right.
Yeah, I can't explain half of this top 20.
With facts.
Can we just be honest for a minute?
As a matter of fact, I think this will be the only time you see any of them, a lot of them in the top 25.
Give it a week of the season, and they're out of the top 25 real quick.
Right. Then you got Texas A&M at or Ohio State at 6. Excuse me. Then you got Texas A&M at number 7. Cincinnati at 8, Oregon at 9, and to round out the top 10.
Well, the only thing, going back to what you say was number 4, Iowa State. Matt Campbell, I believe, is the head coach there, and he's supposed to be this young. He's 41 years of age, and he certainly comes with a tremendous rep, so to speak, and 10-2 last year. I don't see it. Like I said, they gotta get past the guys ahead of them. Who did you say was ahead of them? Not Georgia, Oklahoma, and they lost in the right. So they gotta beat those teams, and we'll see. But I'm just saying, I'm trying to give a rationale, so to speak. It's certainly not. I've seen a lot of top 25s, and there's quite a few that don't have them where you have them. So I guess when it's all said and done, we'll have to see what actually is going to be. Right.
I mean, who'd they play? The SC LSU Mud Dogs all year? I'm kind of wondering about that one. So it's I like I said, man, this probably won't be, this will be non-existent come what, 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from the season starting. What do you guys think?
For sure. Like, because there's so many of these teams that weren't even ranked. We have all these teams that, for whatever reason, probably they lost a lot of seniors, so they dropped in the poll. It never lasts long. I think it always takes about 2-3 weeks, and more than half of these teams drop off and switch places, and then we really don't find out till October who's good or not. Right. A lot of these games, like, because Ohio State will have 2 or 3 or 4 like easier colleges, just like all the other major college teams like Alabama, Clemson. They'll all play lesser known teams in September. So we'll get an idea how good they are, but it's really not till October until we can truly take credence in a top 25. At least I don't think so.
Well, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you know who a guy or a gentleman by the name of Bruce Christopher Young is? Would that name ring a bell to either one of you? I'm trying to stump you on purpose.
Yeah, you did for sure. I don't know.
Well, he happens to be a sophomore at the University of Alabama, and already in the NIL, which is name, image, and likeness, he has made $1 million. So I find that to be unbelievable. I think he played in about 4 or 5 games last year, really sparingly, maybe a cup of tea. But really, you can say for all intents and purposes, he's going to be a freshman. Alabama is highly ranked as usual, but he's already made $1 million. As Don King would say, only in America.
Well, the way I see it, hey, we the fans, in all sense of the, we the fans did bring this on ourselves too. I mean, we knew it was going to be some political red tape around it. We knew it was going to be some high numbers for. I mean, if I'm a freshman getting ready to go to college and I'm making $1 million, oh goodness, this ought to be a great social experiment. That's for sure.
Well, you know one thing, you pay for your tuition.
Huh, there's that. But you know what though? That does bring up a whole thing about the NIL. I wonder how much of that tuition can the universities collect.
I didn't understand that. What do you mean by how much can they collect?
How much can, or if they can collect? Because they, of course, I mean, there is a stipend, but with this NIL, that's a stipend from the NCAA is one thing, but we're talking about a whole contracts. This is a whole nother deal.
Well, I saw a couple of places. Well, really, one in particular. I'm trying to think what school it was, where they had a couple of walk-on, college players who were actually, I guess, given an award through NIL, where they were able to now, get their tuition paid for, and it was, very heartfelt because, a lot of times you see these situations where a walk-on is named to get a scholarship, which for a guy who's paying his way to play, that's a big deal for him as well as his family. So that's part of this whole new deal where you can, actually, provide enough, impetus for your walk-ons to receive a full paid scholarship, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, there's going to be, the convoluted that find bad in everything, but that's a beautiful thing when a guy's worked so hard, didn't have a scholarship, isn't a big time player, so to speak, but is able to now, get that tuition paid for. So that's a win-win for me as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Jason, what you got?
I mean, I think I agree. It's a win-win with the NIL, no matter how you slice it. I didn't know they were doing that with scholarships. That's even better. But these kids should have been able to make money all along, and this colleges profit off of how good these kids are. So they might as well be able to make some money. Because, it like the sports guru said, only in America. Well, America is based on making money for yourself. Yeah, it is based on selling your old stuff that you may not want. And these kids have been, yes, their college is paid for. And yes, they have it better than a lot of other broke college kids. But they're still kind of broke college kids making millions of dollars for these colleges. It's only fair that they try to make some money. Now, of course, there's going to be backhand deals more than likely, but that's the price we pay to make money sometimes, apparently.
Politics.
Nobody seemed to mind before when the boosters were paying people. So, I mean, why get upset? Now it's a legal way to do it.
Yep.
Well, because since it's a legal way to do it, they feel like, I think it's a whole power and control thing, personally. And
I'd like to go ahead, I'm sorry.
And the universities are losing a lot due to the fact that now we have the NIL.
How are the universities losing money? I don't get that.
Well, they're not losing money, but they're losing a lot of control. Because now you can see it. You can see it. Well, they're forming these super conferences and super teams and everything else. I mean, you can see it all now. So I mean,
the devil's advocate would say they already been performing super conference. What the hell is the SEC? They put more players in the NFL every year than any other conference. So it's been a super conference.
Well,
It's just that now other conferences are joining forces just like they feel they're joining forces.
Well, yeah, I get that. I mean, it's you'll have that though.
And I like to make the analogy that just like before when it came to gambling, used to go, I'm a lot older than you guys, but the bookie, or the neighborhood bookie to lay a sports bet. Now it's legalized gambling in states like New Jersey, Delaware, I believe parts of Pennsylvania. So now it's just like anywhere else. People are going to go do it the legal way. And what's wrong with that? I mean, it's not like they're putting the bookie out of business. In some instances they will, but now other people who normally probably wouldn't do it that way are able to gamble legally, which is, unless you lose your shirt, I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess you're right about that. I mean, I definitely don't disagree with that. But, I mean, the way we know college football is pretty much gone. We can definitely say that. So there's that.
Well, I mean, of course it's gone, but I mean, we might have the opportunity to get to see people spend 4 years in college and play football. I mean, yeah, we see it, but those big time star players, they're gone as soon as they can, because you got to make money as quick as you can here, especially in football, because your body can only take so much, and the average NFL career is only 3 years, and maybe you're not even good enough to get in the NFL, but you can still make some money playing college football, doing some autograph signings and whatnot for 4 years, and be like a big man on campus, if you will. I mean, you see how just Ohio State and radio stations and the media treat Ohio State alumni football players. They're everywhere and don't have to have experience for anything. That can be a route a lot of guys can go, because they're intelligent enough to talk about the sport to get a job in the media easily, and they can be the voice of their college football team for 20 years or what have you, or whatever they would choose to do. So it's a give and take. I think there's going to be a lot of good things that come out of this, highly, because you're already getting highly educated as a football player, but if you go all 4 years, now you have this highly educated degree where, if something happens, break your leg, whatever, and you can't play anymore, now you have something even better to fall back on. So now you're making all kinds of, because you still got that mailbox money, because you stay in the town you played in, you make money from autograph signings and media scrums and everything else. Right. And then over here, you're using your real degree on your 9 to 5 or 8 to 8 or whatever you're doing in life.
Oh, facts. And I mean, and we might actually see players go to class and learn. I'm just saying, that happens all the time too. You can take, for instance, one of the local guys here that went to Ohio State, Curtis Crosby, freakish athlete, all the athletic ability, the size, the speed, everything in the world. He just didn't want to go to class. And, he, of course, wound up, doing some other stuff and trying to get some otherwhere later on after, they kicked him out of school and, revoked his scholarship. It was a big mess, and I hope the dude's doing all right, So, with that being said, we're going to jump on over to our next topic. The NBA has started back the Summer League. Now, this has been one heck of a summer league, especially dealing with all of the NBA free agencies, and where, some players are actually going to go and what have you. But the new talent that they have actually has had a chance to shine. And shine they have. I mean, we already see, a couple of different rivalries that's getting ready to occur. Like Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green. That's going to be something to watch. Those are two special players. I've been seeing this draft. I wouldn't say either one of them is the best pick because, they're pretty doggone good. Especially to be, in there. Now, we'll see what it looks like at the beginning of the season, but this is what we got for right now. And I will say that it is exciting, to see the next class come up, through this summer league. What you got on it, Mr. Sports Guru?
Well, I saw Mr. Cade Cunningham a little bit. I got a little glimpse of him yesterday or the day before, and against the New York Knickerbockers. I'm here in New York City, where they say all the ladies are pretty. But he put up a 20-piece against the Knicks in a Detroit victory over the Knicks. I thought he looked impressive. But the one thing I will just caution, people, this is Summer League. So just because he can dominate a bunch of Summer League dudes, that's not the NBA. And, a lot of guys looked really good in summer league. In fact, I'm trying to think that I'm thinking of the guys that he played against on the Knickerbockers, like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quigley. They both were, I thought they played very good. I think Toppin scored 30 points in one of those games. So he's last year he couldn't really get on the floor for the most part in a Tom Thibodeau offense there in New York. But that to me wasn't all his fault. I mean, Tom Thibodeau's always been hard on rookies. So it's one of those things where, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But the bottom line is in the playoffs where the Knicks got, they got tattooed by the Atlanta Hawks, to be honest with you. He did start to show signs of life. And so I think, that's a good sign for the Knicks. Obviously, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quigley as well. Quentin Grimes, who, was really played in the Final Four last year. And he's a shooter, and the Knicks can use as many shooters as possible, even with a couple of their signings. And obviously, bringing in who was not Rose, the other guy they brought in. The kid from New York. What's his name? Trying to think of his name. New York Knickerbockers. He was with Charlotte, but he went to Boston, and I think that's going to be an interesting situation to see him and Derrick Rose kind of share the limelight and playing guard, maybe a little bit of a two guard, and so that's going to be Kemba Walker. I'm sorry, yeah. I apologize for that.
That's all right.
But Kemba Walker. So that's going to be interesting. I quite frankly, I think the Knicks did a real good job, better than most people think in terms of, being able to now blend the old with the new, and really have I'm not saying they're going to be a 4 seed again, because really a lot of teams got much better. But I just think at one time in the free agency, game, they seem to be, taking a back seat to everybody. But that one signing really kind of helped them a lot, and then signing their own players. And then, like I said, watching the young rookies, obviously Cade Cunningham was the cream of the top, the crop, so to speak. But definitely the Knicks players, along with Grimes. There was one other kid, I'm trying to think his name. It might have been Miles McBride, or what's the other cat's name? It was one other. No, it wasn't Wayne Selden. He's been in the league for, I think it might have been Jericho Sims. Both those players, I think second round players also, I thought they looked pretty good also. So the Knicks, I liked what I saw. I was really looking at it from that perspective because, I go on a lot of New York shows, but you can't deny that Cunningham looked great. But like I said, let's just temper our enthusiasm because this is summer league.
Facts. I agree with that. What you got, Jason?
I mean, I'm with the sports guru on that. Like, yeah, it is just summer league, but it's one of the, I guess I would say, better preseason barometers as far as sports go, because you get to see a lot more of their game and how they play against different defenses and how they react to different types of offense. And I think that, always in basketball, we focus on scores. Like, I mean, Kira Lewis was all over the place the other night. Moses Moody of Golden State scored like 22 points, but sometimes we need to really focus in and look and see what they're doing on the court when they don't have the ball. Like, are they guarding properly? Are they talking to their teammates? Are they getting involved? Because you can't learn the NBA game unless you get involved. But if you're big and you can just dominate anyway, or highly athletic above everybody else, you don't have to use your skill. There's always that side of it. And this way you get to see a lot more because their holes in their game start to develop or open up to other teams as the summer league goes on.
Hey,
let me ask you a question, Jason. What do you think about like having 10 fouls in the different quarters in terms of the amount of time? Do you think that helps them or that hurts them?
I think all those fouls hurts. It kills I know you're trying to slow momentum down for the other team, make them stop scoring. But of course, it's 2 shots normally, 50-50 chance that it increases the lead, and you're not getting any momentum either. I've never really liked the multi-fouls with 2 minutes remaining. Let's slow this game down. Like, for what reason? Like, don't you want momentum too? Like, get in there with your skill guys, your good defense, and take that ball back.
And Renegade, what do you think about the sudden death? After the first overtime, I believe the second overtime, it's the first basket wins.
You're taken away from the game. You know, it's just like Major League Baseball, and with them, you know, putting runners on set and runners in scoring position in extra innings. You know, it's. I think at some point in time, you know, even in sports, we got to know when to leave well enough alone.
Well, I think the rationale of the NBA is they don't want players to foul out and not be able to get the proper amount of minutes in this type of environment. So that's their rationale. As far as the overtime, you know, I guess they don't want them to play too much, almost like football. You know, after a certain amount of time on the court or field, you know, you're more susceptible to injury. So I guess you got to take the good with the bad. I just brought it up because Jason, mentioned that. So I just wanted to see what you guys felt about those particular, differences of the summer league compared to the regular NBA basketball.
Right. And you know what? I'm just happy to see this caliber of talent in the rookies battling it out. You know, it's kind of like it's not the actual players that's been in for a while. It's just them right now, duking it out to see who's best or who can get the momentum.
Well, part of the reason why, you're seeing more players is because last year there was no summer league. It was COVID league. And so now you're really seeing like Obi Toppin and Quigley. Those guys didn't get to showcase their talent last year because of COVID. So now you're basically taking two classes and combine them as one. And then, there was a guy, I believe, whose name? I can't think of his name. Let's see. Not Jericho. Tyler. What was his name? He's a guy. Oh, there he is. Wayne Selden. Okay, so Wayne Selden's been in the league, I think, either 3 or 4 years. He's been on quite a few NBA rosters. Normally, you don't see players who are almost like journeyman players allowed to play in the summer league. But, I guess because of, like I said, 2 years combined into one, you're seeing guys like that on the roster. And I believe there was a guy in the Lakers, actually, who was like a kind of a what they call a two-way player, who was actually playing on the Lakers last year, who I saw him actually having a pretty good game in the summer league. So it is quite interesting. I will say that, but like I said, I just gotta hold your brakes a little bit because guys are not going to dominate in the summer league and go dominate the NBA. That's just not going to happen.
Well, yeah,
you might have 1 or 2 players in this whole summer league that actually will be worthy of that.
Hey, but you know what though? I mean, this is a chance for a lot of players to get momentum too. And a lot of them see that. I mean, this is the type of draft class we got. We got Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, and just a bunch of numbers like that. A bunch of, people that's actually stayed in school for a while. Well, all except Cade. But I mean, that's a whole nother, deal when you talk about talent and all like that. We get to see them go head to head, and they can prove who's the best amongst their class too. In and that also, way, but it is a long season. It is 82 games. So
and already Jalen Suggs out for the summer league, Josh Giddey out for the summer league. So that's the number 5 and 6 picks respectively. With injuries that, so they're no longer able to showcase their talent. So one of the things you're going to have to be concerned with, are these guys going to be able to stand the rigors of an 82 game NBA regular season? Most of them coming from college where you played 30 games, and last year, because of COVID, most of the teams probably didn't even play close to 30 games. So that's something else also, when you think about making that transition from college to pro, can you stand the rigors of a long NBA season? A lot of these guys are going to be spending their first year doing what? Just getting their bodies right. Okay. Oh, and I'm not even talking about their mind, because the transition from being a college player to being a pro player, is the difference between night and day.
Facts. Yeah, facts. Very. I can agree with that. All right. So, with that going on, we got that's the NBA Summer League. That's our wrap up for that. To be continued. It's something that we can bring up next show. And the good thing about sports is that every sport is residual. So that's a conversation to be had at a later date on how this summer league and what the draft class looks like and what it panned out. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to our next topic. We got the MLB, the pennant race is heating up. We earlier in the show we talked about the Field of Dreams game, which was a great one. I think we can all agree with that. It was good for baseball, except for the sports guru. He was kind of a little bit distraught over there.
No, I was trolling the Yanks. I mean, I was, but I do that from time to time.
I understand completely. Just like I troll I control the team underneath us. Because I'm a Michigan fan and yet I live in Columbus, Ohio. So we don't call them they're the team underneath. Because we're the team up north, so they're the team underneath. It's one of those things. So I get it. So with that being said, check out the standings and what we got here. All right.
Yeah, I know. They're one of two teams in the American League that have absolutely no chance. There's a few other ones, but you couldn't even scrub up a miracle for the Baltimore Orioles to make the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. That's a big ask from where they are right now. I mean, to us, it sounds, it's 12 games. They could probably do that. There's 120 games in each season. But I was, that
162.
Ha.
Yeah, what the hell, doubleheader? No, nothing wrong with that. You know who said let's play two, right? Well, I mean, it's hard to say because obviously you have Tampa in first place, and then I believe Boston and only about 2 games ahead of the Yankees for that last wild card spot. Them and I believe the Oakland Athletics right now. So it's going to be interesting. Most if you listen to most of the Yankee announcers, the pom poms are usually on here. ESPN's Michael Kay, who I say he drives me nuts. With this Phil Rizzuto like mentality in terms of, I don't know if you guys remember old Phil Rizzuto, but he loved his Yankees, but it's a little bit different time back then. But I don't know. I mean, the Yankees, every time you think that they're going to come out of it, they just somehow do something and lose a big game, and they're pitching, and then I don't know how you guys feel about this. They have a record number of guys who've been on the COVID-19 exempt list, so to speak, where I think it's up to 10 or 11. And I believe someone was talking about that, the vaccination rate for the New York Yankees was at 85%, but they also mentioned that includes guys who cook their food, or the traveling party. So why that includes other people other than the ball players is kind of beyond me. But I realize that people travel with the team as well, but they shouldn't be included when you're trying to come up with that percentage, which gives you immunity where players are allowed to walk around the clubhouse, without masks. But to me, that's where they're going wrong, because even though, you're allowed to do that according to, the CDC in different places, maybe going into a restaurant, it's been proven that all that vaccine does is allows you not to get, sick or die from it, or seriously ill if you actually catch COVID. And many people, what's the guy, the quarterback of the Ravens? He's caught it twice. So let's stop all of this misnomers about you can't catch it twice. So people have done it already. We've seen people do it, and that's people who are being tested. Imagine people who are like, even like myself. I'm retired. I haven't been tested once. I've been vaccinated, but I could have had it 2 or 3 times. How would I know? Right. So unless you're in a profession where usually, they got a lot of money at stake, now I do understand that teachers sometimes maybe tested on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, but the average Joe who's not, in that type of scenario is not being tested. So he or she has no idea in terms of how, if he's infected with the virus. So the Yankees got to stop walking around the clubhouse with, without a mask. You got to wear your mask. You got to try to keep your social distance, and then maybe you guys will stop catching COVID. But if you continue to act the way that you are, guess what? It's going to happen at the most most inopportune moment. Thank you. No and it could cost you, that final spot, which it's gonna be down to the hair of your chinny chin chin anyway. So that's my whole way of thinking at it. So this is it's something that we just we're gonna have to wait and see, because it's affecting everyone.
So it's a matter of them being responsible. In other words, is what you're saying.
Or not even so much responsible, but using common sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I see people, I go into, certain stores, like, I'll tell on them, Dunkin' Donuts. Now, a couple of weeks ago, the guy or the young lady who was taking my order didn't have a mask on. Now, I see some of them with masks. You need to wear your mask. You don't know who's coming in there.
Facts.
And the same way that the Yankee players, if you're in the clubhouse, you probably need to wear your mask. Now, I'm not saying you got to, be 6 feet apart, but what I do personally is when I go certain places, I do try to keep my distance. I do try to keep 6 feet apart. Now, if somebody comes within my personal space, I don't go crazy like last year when people were knocking people out because they were getting too close to them. But I do try to, keep a certain amount of, distance, and I wear my mask. And you know what? If I let you into my personal space,
you made that choice.
Absolutely. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And that's what, if you're saying that's personal responsibility, I call that personal common sense. Well, but I'm a little long in the tooth, so maybe I'm different.
Well, common sense is uncommon these days. Jason, thoughts? American League East?
Not much that you guys haven't already said, other than the fact that there is a chance for like Boston to legitimately take and keep a lead above the Rays with the 160 total games, but not a whole lot. But I'd have to say, yeah. But I think everybody else is a big ask. Even 7.5, that's a lot for Tampa Bay to lose, and then to continue to build on that league. Like Tampa Bay would probably have to get like half of their clubhouse, COVID results back positive for something like that. I mean, there's a chance for that to happen, but like other than that, I think they take it up from the way Major League Baseball players have handled this whole thing for 17 months. The odds are probably higher than any other sports league that we have. They were always getting it. They're always out partying because they're baseball players, which this is what they did. It makes no sense. It's like the football players were the partiers in the 80s. Now they're like staying home playing video games and having beers with the boys, and the baseball players out wilding out and stuff. Like, what's going on?
And what you said, Jason, just to echo what you just said, football players are right in each other's faces. They're grabbing, they're tackling each other. So the likelihood that you catch COVID from, the actual sport is so much higher. Baseball, it's an outdoor sport, and there's no real, interpersonal contact. And basketball is indoors, once again, and you're all over each other. And so why would baseball players catch COVID at a higher rate? Back to what the Renegade said, it has to come to, and I don't want to say it, but it is somewhat sounding like personal responsibility. There's things that they're doing that are not conducive to not, or staying COVID-19 free.
I mean, it means a little more to him. So what you guys got on that, Sports Guru? Anything?
Well, I know one thing. Tony La Russa, I thought I was old. He's 76 years young. My, oh my. I mean, he had that little problem with one of his players early in the season, Showboat, and I can't remember his name. I apologize for that. But that has to be a little bit of concern, in terms of him, I guess really identifying with today's athlete. So let's see if that really comes into play. But, you have to kind of give Chicago the lead in terms of, securing that first place, because they do have the lead. They have a very, very good team, as we saw in the Field of Dreams game versus the Yankees. I mean, that was just an awesome display of power. So they seem to have it all. But I just, the Tony La Russa factor, is just something that's a little bit of concern to me. I'm not saying that, and I don't want all the older people than me to start sending me nasty emails and things of that nature. But I, just like, Biden, I mean, I hate to bring that into it, but, old is old, my man.
There's that. I mean, well, then again, I mean, I think Nancy Pelosi is older than Biden, so there's that. I mean, we have the elderly, like, actually making decisions. I get it. I really do. Trust me.
That's always made me ponder. Like, one side of the elderly people go into like assisted living, the other side run the country. It's very, it's problematic.
Facts. This is kind of, it's definitely contradictory. And then we got the AL West.
Well, Dusty Baker, 72 years young. He makes Larry Brown look like a spring chicken. Larry Brown, 80 years old, still coaching at the University of Memphis, an assistant coach to Penny Hardaway. So all I got to say is God bless these older people, because I'm 55 and I don't think 57, excuse me. I actually had a birthday this week, but I don't plan on working another day in my life. So God bless America to each his own.
Man, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this postseason, and really the Central in particular. Like, the West is close, but more than likely, it, like you said, it's the Athletics and the Astros are going to run away with that division. But I think there's a lot more questions in the Central, even with the top 3 teams. Because really, like, yeah, the Indians are 11 games back, but there's probably quite a few divisional matchups coming up to finish off the season that is going to change a lot of these numbers around.
Well, the Mets are really in a battle right now. 1-1 tie. What's it? I believe the top of the 8th with the Dodgers, and they had a lead going into this. No, actually, it's in the 7th, and they just seemingly can't hold the lead. These poor Metsies, and I don't know how you feel about it, but here in New York, they keep saying that Jacob DeGrom, he's not going to pitch until September. But some of these New York people want to give him the Cy Young. I'm like, if the guy that hasn't pitched in about a month or two, how the hell are you going to give him a Cy Young based on a quarter of the season? I find that to be absurd.
Well, hell, is anybody better than him? Has anybody been better than him?
Well, yeah, how good can you be if you haven't pitched half the season?
Well, yeah,
I mean, there's got to be other people.
Yeah, I give it that. But, I mean, it just depends. I mean, baseball has always been, somewhat fan-oriented, so.
Well, that's what they said about the NBA last year when LeBron went down and then Embiid went down. Basically, the Joker won the MVP based on the fact that he was the only one that was the last man standing.
Right.
And I didn't have a problem with that, to be honest with you, as much as I am a LeBron James lover. You know what? He wasn't available. God. The best availability, what's it? The best ability is availability, something like that. So, if the guy didn't play, how could I sit up there and say it's his award? No. And that the same applied for Embiid too. So, as long as what's good for the goose is good for the gander, I had no problem with it. I can't see Jacob DeGrom winning anything other than the disabled list or what do they call it? The injured list now.
Yeah, it's not the disabled because I think it's more of a politically correct term, but whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, whatever. That's a whole nother conversation. So, it ought to be an interesting race. We still got some time and we still got till the end of September to go. So, we'll see what it shapes up in Major League Baseball. We'll have more updates for that and some more. And this brings us to the end of our show here at No Filter. Once again, I'm your host for this week. This is the Renegade. Any last words, Mr. Sports Guru?
Well, sometimes, probably not tonight. You can see me on Saturday nights doing my own show, but I think I will just watch a little bit of football and baseball and maybe air this show on my platform. And then on Tuesdays, Talk Your Ish Tuesday up there with my man Dennis Holmes and the boys. He actually sent me a shirt. I was going to put the shirt on, but I didn't want to, that's a conflict of interest.
Hey, no. Listen, I wear my No Filter shirt on his all the time. Whatever.
Okay. Well,
Hey, I don't care. I don't care, man. It's not. It's not about
I
that.
come from the Aretha Franklin, RESPCT.
I understood.
So
I understood. Now we, it's all one big family. With the Ignorant Thinkers podcast, Sports Angle. All of us. We all get on each other's shows, and you know how that is.
That's true.
Yeah. So where can they find you? Where can they find you?
Well,
For you?
like I said, talk your ish on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, and then obviously on Thursdays on the Sports Angles. I do a little segment with him every Thursday. We, last week we did, what do we do? Football and the AFC, NFC, predictions, and that was pretty interesting. We'll see how many of them come true. And then on Saturdays, you can catch me on my own show, my own platform on Facebook Live, DH Groove, the Sports Groove, and then sometime I do this thing called the Musical Storm, soft and warm, when I get into my Love Doctor, stage. But that's not sports related. That's me
that's
being handsome.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
a whole nother genre.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
Nothing wrong with that. And what you got, Jason?
So the Score on Air Network YouTube page, you can check out ASWA Rebirth, where my sultry voice calls all the action and gives a voice to the voiceless of the booed professional wrestlers that were there, and they were treated oh so poorly by the fans. And don't forget to check out Bruiser Nation Productions on YouTube and Facebook, and the Bruce Cruz podcast, the only podcast that brings you pro wrestling for your ears.
Nothing wrong with that. And you got your boy the Renegade right here, always doing his thing on No Filter, just working on content. Hey, by the way, we need to talk, Jason, because I got an opportunity for some Mansfield High School football games, man. I need a color commentator.
Okay.
I'll know by the end of this week.
Keep me posted, because
I was in touch with someone. As a matter of fact, they came by Voice Corp today, and we were just sitting there talking, and they basically looking for somebody to do the play-by-play announcers. They're talking about Mansfield High School football. Let's see who else. Cardington. Just schools are right around there, so that would be real cool to actually do.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
And get up, and I figure, I'll do the play-by-play. You want to do the color commentary.
Yeah, man.
That would be pretty sweet. So we got that going on. We're upgrading content. You can check Jason out at, where can they find you?
Let's see, the Bruiser Nation Productions YouTube page. We're on Twitter at Bruiser Nation PR. We have our own website, bruisernationproductions.com, and it's spelled kind of like that for the viewers that can see behind me, BRUZE nation.com, because I'm 90s kid and you got to replace the IS with a Z if you're from the 90s, apparently.
No, I had no idea. That's a new one on me, but all right.
Maybe it's the wrestling side of 90s kids that feel the need to do that.
Oh, all right. Well, that sounds fair enough. And once again, I'm your host, the Renegade. You can find me at www.nofilterproductionsllc.com. Hit us up on the Facebook page at No Filter. Arinthius Frazier, that's my journalism page. I've got a couple of good articles out. I'm about to write another one. That'll be real controversial. Let's go on ahead and piss some more people off. Why not? It's all fun and games. But we got that. Pretty soon we'll start developing the People's Platform, which will be a new social media outlet for liberals. The conservatives have one, so why not? We'll be doing that. We've got the Changing the Game Festival that we are working with the Nation of Islam. It's about, or not changing the game, I'm sorry, changing the narrative. And it's a festival kind of mimicking the 1969 Harlem Cultural Festival, where, we noticed that music and entertainment kind of controls the masses of the people. So we're all just trying to get that together and be able to, help bring back some of this soulful attitude that we all had back then. So, check out that, start marketing that. And, I got some other things going on, but, the Renegade always doing some shit. So that's just what we do here at No Filter. But once again, for the sports guru. Love to have you back at some point in time. Whenever you want to come back, the door's always open.
Just say the word, my brother.
All right, got you. We got Mr. Jason here, Mr. Bruiser Nation, and then we got myself right here. This is episode 4 of Changing the Game right here on No Filter Productions. We'll see y'all next week, 8 o'clock p.m. Y'all have a good one.